With free agency up and going and a lot of big names off the free agency board, one of the questions the Chicago Bulls fans might be asking themselves right now is DeMar DeRozan coming back to the Chicago Bulls? Is he headed to the Los Angeles Lakers? We're going to be talking about DeMar DeRozan and his possible free agent destinations and what this would mean for the Chicago Bulls and DeMar DeRozan. This is Rico Greenhowe, and this is another episode of Bulls Digest, guys. And before we jump into it, wanted to let you know that 77% of you guys that watch the videos are not subscribed to the channel. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can find out the latest news and happenings around your Chicago Bulls, guys. And so let's go ahead and jump into the topic of the day, which is around DeMar DeRozan, guys. And look, I'm a fan of DeMar DeRozan. I love absolutely what DeMar DeRozan has done for the Chicago Bulls. And let's face it, he was the king of the fourth. I mean, this guy was a clutch performer, and I absolutely think that he performed well alongside of Kobe White and then also to Dosunmu as well. So I think that you could argue that because of DeMar DeRozan, he was absolutely one of the reasons why we made it into the play-in situation. And I think that he affected winning a lot more than, say, a Zach Lavine, to be fair about this, guys. But as I said before, you know, it is unfortunate, but I do not see DeMar DeRozan coming back to the Chicago Bulls. It's just not going to happen, guys. And you know, to start off, guys, this goes back a little bit as to what I was talking about. You can find this article once again on CHGO. They do a podcast there as well. But Will Goblet, he did a excellent article about the offseason outlook here, guys. And just telling you guys that it was not possible to bring back everybody. Once we kept Lavine and Lonzo Ball on this roster, and then without the roster really necessarily being set, guys, we were going to be in trouble financially, and we had to take and make sure that we got Lavine off of the books or got that situation taken care of before we could even address DeMar DeRozan and his situation. And so, you know, essentially from what I'm hearing at this point in time, and this is something that I believe this was reported by Chris Haynes, he's essentially saying that, look, the contract for DeMar DeRozan has stalled because, one, they're looking to move on from Lavine and Lonzo Ball. Okay, so they're looking to trade somehow, some way, get rid of those two players, and then they would possibly come back to DeMar DeRozan. Number two, the number two issue about this now is that I think that DeMar DeRozan probably doesn't want to come back to Chicago, and to be fair, he probably should not. And I say that in all due respect, guys, because DeMar DeRozan, no matter how you feel about him, he is going to be a Hall of Famer. I don't care how you feel about that. Look at the numbers. He is projected to be a Hall of Fame player. Could he affect a team and help them win games? Absolutely, I think so. The thing that's tough for DeMar DeRozan, and I think he knows this, is that he's going to have to take a little bit of a diminished role, okay? And so I think that there is a possibility for a team like the Lakers to do something with DeMar DeRozan. I think that that would probably be, in all likelihood, the place that he does go, okay? Because he talked about wanting to make it happen and get there before we went out there and made the deal to get him from San Antonio. All right, and so, look, LeBron has opted out of his deal. Reportedly, he said that he would take a pay cut for Klay Thompson. I would think that the same offer would be there for DeMar DeRozan. But the question is now, a lot of the money has been absorbed by free agents. And I just think that DeMar DeRozan is in a tough situation financially. So to answer the start of the video, yes, DeMar DeRozan is not coming back to the Chicago Bulls for those two reasons. One, Lavine and Ball are still on there. You know, just a lot of the money is gobbled up and it just doesn't make sense there. And two, I think that DeMar DeRozan has since said, look, I want to go somewhere where I could possibly go out here and win. And so that brings me into what is now reported with Woj kind of bringing this news out here, and Chris Haynes, I want to say that as well. But Look, he's talking about the fact that, a sign and trade would lock DeRozan into a 3-year deal, right? And this would deny him the chance to explore the open market next summer. And so the likelihood of him possibly doing a sign and trade, even though we could operate with him in that aspect, it's probably unlikely, because I think that DeMar DeRozan still wants to explore the market for next season. Maybe he can get more. Keep in mind, I think that the salary cap is expected to go up and stuff as well, with the TV dollars and all that stuff that's going on. So I don't know the numbers there. So that's one of the things maybe DeMar DeRozan is possibly looking at. And then number two, what Chris Haynes is saying is he's saying, look, the Lakers have been in contact with DeMar DeRozan's agents. You're seeing this on the screen. And you're also seeing what I just talked about, where DeRozan has mentioned that the final straw was Caruso leaving, and then the Bulls are going younger. And so, look, I just think with those aspects, I want to see DeMar DeRozan. I'd love to see him get a win, win a ring, I'm saying. But what I'm hoping for with DeMar DeRozan, I just hope that he doesn't go into a Lakers situation and become like a Russell Westbrook, and they essentially turn him into a standstill jump shooter, right? Like, I hope that they don't try to go after my man's legacy like that, because, like I said, DeMar DeRozan has been incredible, and I've always dated back to what he said when he first came to us, guys, and he was paired with Zach Lavine. He said, look, I had a conversation with Zach Lavine, and he said, look, we have to stay healthy. And I absolutely think that DeMar DeRozan kept his end of the bargain, and it's unfortunate that the team broke down the way it did. But yes, DeMar DeRozan, the truth is he's not coming back to the Chicago Bulls. I just don't see that happening in any situation where he's coming back to the Chicago Bulls, and it doesn't make sense for him to come back to the Chicago Bulls. And the one thing that I will say, kind of in closing, guys, is this, that we were trying to get rid of Zach Lavine, right? And Zach Lavine had been injured. And I guess, like, statistically, we're seeing that Zach Lavine didn't, necessarily affect winning and all this stuff like that. My only question is this, like, if we knew that we were headed to a play-in situation, right, and we knew we weren't going to go any further than that, and we had to know that we were probably going to be in a situation where we were going to have to go younger or make some tough decisions on the roster, including the fact that DeMar DeRozan would not be back. My question is, why did the Chicago Bulls not try to maybe make a deal for DeMar DeRozan when his value was high? That'd be my only question. Like, I don't know, if there was something in his contract or whatever, and even if anybody necessarily wanted him, but I would have to think that there were teams last season that maybe felt like they were a player away. And I'm wondering, like, could we have gotten an asset, right, that would help us in the future? Like, I'm not saying that it would have been something that would have been a second round for this year. Like, that would have been great, you know what I mean, to go out there and say, I think we could have used the second round and got, like, Golden State got the center from Boston College. I think his name is Quentin Post. Like, I think that would have been a terrific thing if we would have been able to get an asset for DeMar DeRozan. So I'm not saying that we would have, but I think that would have helped us as far as rebuilding or retooling or whatever we're doing at this point in time, guys. And so let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments. Like, are you okay with the fact that DeMar DeRozan is likely headed out of Chicago? And also, too, do you think that the Chicago Bulls perhaps should have explored a trade of some shape to possibly get an asset back for DeMar DeRozan during last season and his epic push, guys? I mean, this guy led the league in minutes. He was right there in the clutch, award winner discussions. And I mean, this guy was making it happen. Like, I think that there would have been some value there for a winning team. So let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments, guys. Do you think DeMar DeRozan was tradable last year? And also, too, are you okay with the fact that DeMar DeRozan is not coming back? And even though we still have not moved on from the biggest piece on our team, which is Zach Lavine, and we have no idea what we're going to do, I'm still saying go Bulls, guys. What can I say? I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, peace, peace.